Today, we're diving into the architecture of control, and we're going to do it through the story of a woman named Anya Chandra. She was born into this incredibly powerful dynasty, but her life, well, it's defined by two huge secrets that trap her in what you can only call a gilded cage. So let's just start with the central question of her entire life, really. What if your greatest gift was also your prison? I mean, just think about that for a second. It's a question that is going to follow her, just shadow her at every single turn. And this right here, this really gets to the absolute heart of her conflict. On one hand, you've got this incredible, almost unbelievable supernatural power, the ability to literally bend minds. But on the other hand, she has zero personal power in her own family. She's basically an invisible daughter in a world completely run by her father. All right, so where does our story begin? It kicks off at Anya's 15th birthday party. And you can imagine it's this super lavish affair. But it's right here, in the middle of all this celebration, that both of her secrets, her crazy power and her total invisibility, they just snap into sharp focus. So you gotta understand the world she lives in. The Chandra family, they operate in what's basically a hermetically sealed empire. And we're not just talking about money here, no. This is about an influence that's so total, so absolute, that it whispers instead of shouts. Her father, Vikash, he's the one who built this whole thing on old money, creating this web of legitimate businesses that are really just fronts for his much darker operations. And, in the middle of all this insane power and wealth, you find this very human, almost painfully normal teenage story. There she is at her own fancy birthday party, and she is just miserable. Why? Because she's watching her crush, this guy, Aryan Khanna, who's totally smitten with Kiara Sharma, a childhood friend who's now this big shot movie star. It's just this moment of pure, painful invisibility, and it's the spark that lights the fuse for everything to come. But here's the thing. That personal pain, it doesn't go unnoticed. But her father, he doesn't offer a shoulder to cry on, no. He sees an opportunity. He decides he's going to take his own daughter's heartbreak and turn it into a weapon for his own cold, calculated vendetta. And he tells her this straight up. See, years ago, Kiara's father tried to expose his criminal empire. The attempt failed, but for Vikash, the insult never went away. So for him, this isn't just some teenage drama. Oh no, this is about collecting a debt. He frames the whole thing as a lesson in consequences. And then he lays out the plan. I mean, look at this. It's a cold, calculated, strategic assault. Step 1, build trust. Step 4, psychological manipulation. He's not just telling her, hey, go hurt this person. He's teaching her, step by step, how to weaponize her gift, how to turn it into a tactical asset. And she does it. Over the next 3 months, Anya carries out this plan with just chilling precision. It starts small, right? Little untraceable illnesses that make Kiara look flaky and unreliable. But by the end of it, Anya is literally inside Kiara's mind, twisting her thoughts, her perceptions, until she engineers this huge, catastrophic fight with Aryan that ends everything. For her father, mission accomplished. But for Anya, this is her initiation into his dark world. So let's fast forward a few years. Anya actually manages to get into NYU's prestigious film school. She's trying to build a life for herself, thousands of miles away. It looks like a real escape, a chance to finally get out from under her father's thumb. But as we're about to find out, for someone in the Chandra family, distance, it's just an illusion. And in New York, for a little while, she finds it. This brief, beautiful taste of freedom. She falls for a guy named Jean-Luc, a passionate documentary filmmaker. And he is everything her family is not. He's an idealist, he's anti-establishment, he believes in using art to challenge power. He is, in literally every way you can imagine, the polar opposite of her father. And for that short time, she's actually genuinely happy. And then, just like that, it's gone. Anya gets tricked into coming back to Mumbai for a fake family emergency. When she gets back to New York, Jean-Luc is gone. The official story? Visa issues. He's been deported. It's so cold, so bureaucratic, so completely untraceable. And it proves one terrifying thing. Her father's reach isn't just in Mumbai. It's global, and it is absolute. And this is where we learn something really crucial about Vikash. See, he doesn't just react to threats. Oh no. He's proactive. He is the architect of his daughter's heartbreaks. He is actively engineering these failures to keep her right where he wants her. Okay, so take a look at this. This table shows us two of Anya's relationships, and you can really see how her father's methods evolve. First, there was her cousin, Abe. He betrayed the family financially, and the resolution was a convenient swimming accident. Pretty blunt. But then you have Rohan, this ambitious YouTuber. The approach there, way more subtle, a carefully engineered breakup. It's a clear shift, right, from brute force to really sophisticated manipulation. And the key to how he controlled Rohan is this idea of the treadmill. Think about it. Rohan believed his viral success was all him, his own hustle. But the whole time, Vikash's team was secretly controlling the speed dial. They'd boost his content when it suited them, then they'd throttle it back to create stress and chaos in his life. So Rohan is just running and running, thinking he's in charge, but he has no idea that someone else is setting the pace. And this right here, this is Vikash's entire philosophy in a nutshell. He orchestrated Rohan's downfall, made him impossibly busy, and then framed him for cheating. So Anya breaks up with him, and she 100% believes it was her decision. She has no idea her father manufactured the whole thing from start to finish. Because compliance, it always works better when it feels like a choice. Which brings us to the final act, and honestly, this might be the most chilling part of the entire story. Because Vikash Chandra doesn't think in months or even years. He plays the long game. And his ultimate plan for Anya, it reveals a level of patience that is just terrifying. 10, that's the number. 10 years. For an entire decade, a man named Dilip Srivastava wrote emails to Anya. They had one coffee date, and for 10 years, he just wrote into a void. He never got a single reply. And for every one of those 10 years, her father was watching, reading every word. But he wasn't just watching. Behind the scenes, Vikash was building what you could call the Dilip file. He was actively managing this guy like an asset. He sent an enforcer to test Dilip's resolve, he tracked his finances, he even secretly sent business contracts his way just to keep his company afloat. This was not kindness. This was asset management. He saw Dilip's quiet loyalty as a resource, something to be kept in reserve and used later. And then, the end game, the culmination of this whole 10-year plan. When Anya turns 40, her father informs her of her future. Her purpose now is to produce an heir for the Chandra Empire. And the man he has chosen to be your husband? You guessed it, Dilip Srivastava, the quiet, loyal man he's been grooming and managing from the shadows for a decade. Her entire future was decided by a game that started before she even knew she was a player. So when you look at Anya's life, what you see is a person living inside this incredibly intricate architecture of control, a prison built for her by the one person who is supposed to protect her. And it really forces you to ask a tough question. When your life is a cage like that, a beautiful cage built by your own family, is compliance the only real way to survive?